Welcome back to the House of Common show. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. Make sure, if you want to support the show, make sure to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. What it does, it moves us up in the rankings so that more people are able to see what you have been able to enjoy. Also, make sure if you are listening to this audio-wise on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, to leave a 5-star review every single time. The brand is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's because of you, the viewer, you, the listener. We love and appreciate you. Gentlemen, in light of what has gone on in the last 3 weeks, we have seen on our own Facebook pages, on social media, in our own chat, we have shared videos of people who often will send us videos or quotes from people who may not necessarily line up with where things are in the world, at least from our perspective. We have seen videos from people on, we'll describe it, on the right side of things and people on the left side of things. Gentlemen, we know of something called the Cookout. When we say the Cookout, is the idea of having people over of like mind, of like heart, of like soul, where pretty well anything goes. It's the idea that at the Cookout, we hang out, we spend time, and it's exclusive. It's more than a birthday party where you put on the Ritz. The Cookout is where you allow yourself to be yourself, and so only certain people can go. So, gentlemen, I have to ask you, in light of the cancel culture that we've been in, that we've seen, where people are coming out with hot takes, not necessarily about sports, but about the world that we are currently living and the climate of the world that we live in, gentlemen, who is not allowed? Who has had their invitation to the Cookout, in your estimation, revoked or at least suspended for the time being, seeing that it is summertime, seeing that we are moving into post-COVID where we can actually have cookouts again? Who would you say isn't allowed to cook out no more? Gentlemen.
Well, allow me, please.
Go for it.
To revoke the invitation, I'm going to shock everybody. I'm not revoking Candace Owens' invitation. I'll say that with someone else. Okay. I'm revoking every other person who supports Candace Owens that is black. Those are the people whose invitations are revoked. Because you only care about black-on-black violence after a black person's been killed, and you want to bring up the fact about black-on-black violence. But when they're talking at these budget meetings about, hey, let's put more money into the community to stop black-on-black violence, you're the one who says, no, we shouldn't spend that much money. We need to cut taxes. I am here to tell you tonight, you can't come to the Cookout because you have been barred by me, Stefan Leroy Watson, Esquire. That is it. I am done.
That, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, Stefan has dropped his microphone. With that, the gunslinger put away his final bullet, put his gun back in the holster, climbed on his horse, and rode away into the sunset. That, my friends, is a hot take.
North Toronto, stand up. I'm out. One love.
All right, Watson. Watachi. All right. Yeah. Gentlemen, how do you follow that? Okay, so here's a question, right? So, we all of us, I think, have had somebody share a Candace Owens video with us, and we're not going to spend time talking about the good stuff or the bad stuff in those videos. We're not going to do that. That's not what the show's about. However, there is a sort of idea of, like, for some people, she should always be at the Cookout. And then there's other people who are like, nah, fam, like, she's locked off, she's done up, that's it. Where do we stand on the invitation? Because, listen, here's what we know. She's an intelligent, smart black woman. She speaks her mind. We might not necessarily agree with her take, just so different than how we don't agree with each other's takes. Where does she fit in? Is she like, I know Stefan said that her followers are allowed. Is she allowed? Does she have to come and bring some? Does she have to bring a potato salad or a case of pear drax or ting? Like, what does it look like, boys? Talk to me, Calvin.
Yeah, I mean, I think she has to be invited, but you know how cookouts go. There's the aunts and the uncles over here, and you got the cousins over there, and then you have those cousins that are over there. Those cousins over there, right? Like, we acknowledge you, we hail you, we're like, yo, come grab a piece of chicken, but we don't really want to rock with you like that. So, you know,
she can't get a plate to go.
Yeah, you can't get a plate to go. Put it back. That's right. 2 pieces of corn. I seen you already.
She's not getting any ribs. She's getting a hamburger.
Yeah, we don't want to hear what song you want to listen to, Ken. You got to go over there.
Oh, Hosky. Or no, Bart, and then Hosky.
Yeah, I think everyone is welcome to the cookout, even Candace, if you are an active participant in dialogue and in presence, meaning action. I know the term we use right now is ally, but one of my homies has been telling me, the term accomplice, and I like that term a lot
Oof.
for the sole reason of ally means that you can be a silent partner in, where accomplice is we're doing it together. Whatever the cause is, we are both doing it, and we're both guilty of doing that thing. So I think if you're open to having dialogue and you're willing to be an accomplice for what the movement and the cause is, in terms of having dialogue, having opinions to have change and to see how we can make positive change, because as much as Candace's opinions are divisive, they are looking to move something forward. I think she, in the heart of hearts, she does want to see momentum or a needle move forward. I just think we differ in terms of opinions. So she's welcome to the cookout, and I don't think the question is specifically about her, anyways.
No, it's not. No.
But I think, everybody who is willing to have the right heart to have a conversation, like seriously, the right heart, then you can come to the cookout. I don't want no beef. I don't want no don't scratch up nobody's Lexus at the party. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Don't wild out. Don't wild out. Don't wild out.
No Beanie Man.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yo. Do you want to be the guy? Do you want to be that guy? Hosky, what are you saying?
Yeah. Like I wanna keep the energy up in this, but I think the rhetoric of the people who don't have a cookout or who have a different kind of cookout, if you feel me.
Hey, let's go.
The rhetoric of them are, you are not welcome into our club. And I think that, us and the cookout, I think that the defining factor has to be that even though we don't see eye to eye on things, that you're still welcome to the table and that we're going to love you regardless. And I think that this, it's dangerous. It's dangerous when we get into the conversation of us versus them and who can and who can't.
Facts.
Because then we turn into the oppressor. We turn into the people that we are, that we are in tension with right now, and then it just becomes whose voice is louder, and we don't want to get there. And so I think it's important that we remind ourselves that we can't get callous in this. Even though we're fighting, we actually can't get callous, and we have to remain open and soft and approachable, and remind people that that we are not the animals that you may think we are, and that you are intelligent humans who have opinions and whatnot, and we do not see eye to eye on things, but you're still welcome to the table, and you're still allowed a seat. There is a line that you can cross, but it's definitely like you can come to the cookout, but you can't cook.
Facts. Jonesy. Papa Listen, Jones.
I want to touch on Candace a little. I think she can come to the cookout. She'll have to be the last one to eat. But also the reason why
Dad said this.
The reason why I think she can come to the cookout, because eventually those who she's at the cookout with will eventually reject her for something that she's going to say. And so, we've got to be there to say, okay, we understand.
Back in.
You're back. She was never out, but we welcome you because we know what was going to happen later on in the future.
You know what it's like? It's like the person who gets the invitation to the cookout and then they have an excuse going like, I have something better to go to. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, I would be at the cookout, but this week I can't make it, guys, this week because of whatever. And then you see on their Facebook that you're with some other another cookout. You're like, oh, okay, I see you. And then after a while, they come in. And it's like in the movies, right? They come in with the potato salad or the macaroni pie. They're like, hey, guys. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, all right. And then they play the Marvin Gaye. And they start doing the electric slide. Shay, what do you got?
So this might be another hot take, but you can't come to the cookout if you don't vote.
I like that. No, I like that.
It's as simple as that. If you're not contributing to society in that way, you don't have a say. You can't just pick and choose when you have a say. If you're not supporting people that are in power, or you're not letting your voice be heard, sit on the bench.
All right.
But yo, everybody got to eat, O'Shea.
Everyone's got to eat, bro.
Okay.
Not voters.
Yo,
All right, so
my Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat.
All right, Reem. Let's switch it up. So I mean, I know that there are viewers who would love for us to spend more time on Candace Owens. So we are going to do the opposite, and we're not going to. Reem, we saw in the news a quarterback by the name of Drew Brees. Drew Brees, we have to kind of create the context. Drew Brees, who has put money into New Orleans, money and time. He was described by my man Shannon Sharp, skill. He was described by Shannon Sharp as being being a light-skinned man at the cookout. Those were his exact words. Skip. Reem. We also know that Drew Brees said some things that were a little divisive to his teammates, and his teammates turned on him. Not turned on him, but they reacted very, very strongly to his views. And then there was another group that said you shouldn't turn back on what you said. Drew Brees, after some introspection, decided to make that switch up, make that turn to kind of be on the side of his teammates. Does a guy like Drew Brees, who has been to the cookout, who's been that one friend from college who you were like, yo, fam, listen, when you come to the cookout, man, just, like, music's going to be loud, just kind of, like, know your role, just kind of stand around over there, man, it's going to be all good. And then finally he starts getting invitations on his own to the cookout himself. Does Drew Brees and those like Drew Brees who have been to the cookout and then made a switch up, do they still deserve an invitation to the cookout?
The question is regarding Drew Brees being invited to the cookout, and the answer is yes. He's invited to the cookout. He made a mistake. Here's what we've learned as this whole racial injustice has been brought to light. There are a lot of individuals who have been ignorant to the things that we've been facing, and not ignorant in a malicious way. They just didn't know. And when Drew Brees made the statements that he made, he was making it from a place of not fully understanding when people were making their protests on the field, why they were making their protests. And so he didn't know, and he made his statements coming from that standpoint. And so we as black people or people of color, or the people that are throwing this cookout, we got to understand that he made a mistake. We got to look at his resume. Look at what he's been doing for his teammates and for the community of New Orleans for many, many years. We can't just throw that out the window just because he made one statement. Was it a really insensitive statement? Absolutely yes. But once it was brought to light as to why people did what they did, and he was able to understand where people were coming from, he had a change of heart. He apologized, and I believe it was sincere. So yes, he's invited to the cookout.
All right, Bartholomew.
Yo, Bartholomew, it's French. So with Drew Brees specifically, there's a lot of audio. Y'all hear
static. Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're good.
Bart.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think specifically with Drew and with anybody else who's problematic, once again, it is the black community that has to humble themselves and show and exemplify how we should behave. If you look at like traditional like movies and stuff like that, the cookout is like the ending scene where no matter what your wrongdoings were, no matter what poor decisions you made, come on, we family. At the end of the day, we're all the same, and we're still part of this group together.
Fast
so
and
let's
Furious.
come on out and you can still catch a plate. What'd you say?
He said Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious. It's Adam's
family.
At the end, guys, it's all about family.
Dumb.
Dumb.
That's the truth, though. That's the truth. Like, it's all about family at the end of the day, and that's what the cookout is about. It's like, listen, you got your wildling cousins that are crazy. You got your auntie who's real strict. You got your uncle who's smoking the herb. Like, everybody, we're all here. We're all here.
All right, Jason, you are the resident. And I'll give it to Andrew as well. You're the resident football man. Steeler City, let's go. Pittsburgh, stand up. As somebody who one of the things that Shannon Sharp, and I gotta say that Shannon Sharp has been like on fire on Undisputed. If you've been able to see any of his clips outside of like the shrine to LeBron James in the back of his behind him, he's been on fire as of late. And his words were, if it had been a different quarterback, people would have responded and they would have been like, well, we thought that anyhow. And the reason why it hurt people so much, it was because it was Drew Brees who said it. When you look at the football landscape and you know the quarterbacks, you know who's better. Like you know you got Big Ben out by you, still throwing bombs, even though he's like lumbering like this gigantic man, stuff like that. Like, what does it look like from a football like you know the teams and all that sort of stuff? What does it look like to you in terms of like how that works? And like, do you think from your aspect, from the States, from where you sit, that Drew Brees should just be able to bring in macaroni pie or bring in some Kool-Aid and be like, hey guys, listen, I brought something, I'm good to go, let's go, let's make this happen?
Yeah, you know what? I've always been the type of person, like when people come over for cookouts, like that's intimate. So everybody just can't come. Yeah, you know, you might have your crazy uncle or your chatty aunt, I understand that, but it's like everybody just can't come. You know, and it's about keeping the peace. So if you bring the wrong person in a certain mix, it can just make a mess, and then you got arguments and confusion. So I mean, now going back to Drew Brees, just thinking about him, I mean, you're right. Like, this guy gave $5 million, I heard, to New Orleans. I mean, he's done so much in that community. I mean, he's like the mayor of New Orleans. And then for him to just completely miss the message and say, okay, it was about the flag. I mean, he really dropped the ball. Now coming back to say, okay, would he be allowed to come at the cookout? I think that's really up to his teammates. Like, okay, are you that close of a family to say, okay, all right, this is my guy. This is the guy who feeds me the ball. I mean, okay, you know, he made a mistake. Can I have that grace for it? And I think that's what it comes down to. Now, if he's not in the family, or if he's just your friend and say, hey, you know, I hear you having a cookout. Can I come by? You like,
right there.
So,
is the answer.
Yeah.
The is the answer.
Exactly, right. So I mean, it's a touchy situation. Like, can this guy really come? And I mean, close family, yes. But if he's distant, or if this guy's like, you know, if he's on the other side of town, he might not get the invite.
But Brees would get the invite because I think he is family. He was that guy that, you know, dropped the bucket of chicken and the dog ate it, and, you know, kind of messed it all up, and everyone's angry because the chicken's gone.
Drop the fried chicken.
And dog ate it, and everyone's mad. So now he has to go back out,
fix some more chicken.
There's a personal story there. I believe there's a personal story there.
Wait,
He needs to bring that. He needs to
He
bring
dropped that jerk chicken.
Potatoes.
Hey.
He needs to bring the sweet potato pie. He needs to bring all that back and say, sorry guys, I dropped the chicken.